As the title of this lesson suggests, before you can manage data in Excel, you've got to get some data into Excel. Now, quote, getting data into Excel can involve several different things. It could involve typing data into Excel, it could involve importing data from different sources, or it could involve simply copying and pasting data into Excel. For the next few minutes, you'll learn a few of the ways you can populate your Excel worksheets with information. Now, no need to worry about opening a sample file yet. Simply open up Excel and let's get started. The quickest and easiest way to get data into Excel is simply enter the data via the keyboard. For example, I can enter in the word fruits in cell A2 and press the Enter key. Now, besides the fact that I just entered a word, the thing you should note here is that the active cell is now the cell below the one I just typed in. Well, this is default behavior for Excel. When you press the Enter key, the cell beneath the one that you're currently in will automatically activate. Now let's try something else. Click on cell B2 and type the word vegetables and press the Tab key instead of the Enter key. Now you'll notice that the Tab key actually made the cell to the right of the cell that you are currently in active. Now you can explicitly specify which cell should be the active one after you move by clicking any one of the arrow keys when you're in this cell. For example, if I type the word grains in cell C2 and press the up arrow key, as you can see, the cell above the one that I currently typed in is active. Now if I were to press the right arrow key, the cursor would have moved to the right. Now let's talk about the length of the data that you enter into a cell versus the width of the column that you're filling in. So as you enter data into cells, you'll inevitably enter data that's longer or wider than the cell that it's going in. For example, if I enter the sentence, this is a really long sentence, in cell D2, and press Enter, you'll notice that the sentence looks like it's filling cells D2 through F2. Now if I click on cell F2, you'll notice that in the formula bar there's nothing there. Now even though it looks like the word sentence is in F2, it's not. Same thing with E2. There's nothing there. The data is actually in cell D2. Notice the formula bar. Now to alleviate this problem, I'll have to make this column wider. Now there's a couple of ways I can make the column wider. First of all, I can go up to the column letters and place my cursor on the line between column D and column E, and then simply click and drag it out. Now as I drag it out, you'll notice this little tooltip box that pops up that tells me what the width of my column is. I'm going to let go, and the column now is wide enough to fit the sentence. Another thing I could have done is I could have double-clicked on that line, and the column would have auto-fit. So let's move the column back to its previous state, and I'm going to go up to the column references again, and this time I'm just going to simply double-click on the line between the two columns. You'll notice Excel automatically fit the column to fit the sentence. So once you have data in the cell, you can actually edit the cell by simply double-clicking inside the cell until you hit Edit Mode. In the lower left-hand corner of the screen, you'll see that Excel is in Edit Mode. Also, you'll see that there's a cursor blinking inside of the cell that I double-clicked on. From here, I can edit, delete, and enter data just as though I was in Word or a text file. And hit Enter, and the cell has been edited. You can also edit cells by using the formula bar. So for example, if I click on this cell again, I can go up to the formula bar and change the cell. Now you'll notice that you don't have to double click inside of the formula bar in order to edit it. Simply place your cursor there and you can edit the cell there. Now if you make a mistake editing or doing some action in Excel, you can always use Excel's undo and redo functionality. The undo functionality gives you the ability to return your spreadsheet to the state it was in before you made your last action. The redo functionality allows you to redo an action. You can find the undo button on the quick access toolbar. So for example, if I click on the undo button, it's going to return my spreadsheet to the state it was in before my last action. You'll notice that the text of the cell changed back to what it was before I made my last edits. Now if I wanted to redo the last action, I can simply click the redo button, and again, that's in the quick access toolbar. If I click this redo button, Excel will reapply my last change. Now you'll notice that when you hover over the undo or redo button, a little tooltip pops up. And also it'll give me a set of hotkeys, Control Z. If I press Control Z on my keyboard, it has the same effect as me pressing the undo button. I've just undid 4 actions. And the same applies to redo. If I hover the mouse over the redo button, I'll see a set of hotkeys, Control Y. test out Control Y, see what happens. Now, it's important to note that in Excel 2007, you can undo and redo up to 100 actions. In Excel 2003 and previous, that number was only 16 actions. Now, when I say that I can undo 100 actions, that basically means that Excel has the ability to capture and remember the state that the spreadsheet was in up to 100 actions ago. So if I click this undo button 10 times, Excel will easily send me back to 10 actions back. That means the state that the spreadsheet was in 10 actions ago. Now, what if I wanted to undo a specific action? I can click this drop-down selector next to the undo button, and I can see all of the actions that are available for undo. As you can see, I can go all the way back to the first action I took, typing fruits into cell A2. Let me click that action. It's as if my spreadsheet has never been changed. Why? Because that was the state my spreadsheet was in before I took the action of typing in the word fruits in cell A2. I can do the same thing with redo. I can redo all of these actions. So let me go ahead and redo all the way up to the point where I type in grains in cell C2. Click that. Now my spreadsheet is in the state that it was in before I started typing into cell D2. Now that you have a pretty solid understanding of the ins and outs of data entry into an Excel spreadsheet, let's talk a little bit about copying and pasting data. The term copy and paste refers to two separate actions typically used together. One action literally copies data, while the other one literally pastes data. To copy a single cell, all you have to do is click on the cell. For example, I'm already on the cell C2, and go to the clipboard group in the Home tab and select the copy button. Now you'll notice the hotkey for the copy button is Control C. You can copy a cell by clicking Control C on your keyboard. But let me go ahead and click this button. You'll see that your cell, the one that you're copying, has what we call marching ants around it. Excel highlights that cell. This basically tells you that this particular cell is now on the clipboard. What's the clipboard? Well, it's the holding area for things that you copy. So let me go ahead and paste this into cell D2. Click cell D2 and then go back up to the clipboard and click the paste button. As you can see in cell D2, a copy of grains was pasted. Now you may get this little icon here next to the cell that you just copied, and these are just basically paste options. These aren't really options that you need to concern yourself with right now, so we'll just ignore these for right now. Now you can copy more than just a single cell. You can copy a range of cells. So for example, I can copy cell A2 through cell C2. That's a range of cells. Now I'm going to click the copy button, select where I want to paste it, then go up and click the paste button. So I've duplicated my cells without typing any data at all. Now if you're turned off with all this clicking and moving up and coming down and moving up and clicking, well, there's an easier way. Remember when we hovered over the copy button, you saw that hot tip? The hot tip or the hotkey is Control C for the copy button. For the paste button, it's Control V. So instead of moving up to the ribbon and down again, you can simply select the cells that you're trying to copy, press Control C, go to the cells where you want to paste the information, and press Control V. And you'll find that it's worth knowing these hotkeys because they'll help you be more productive and save time. Now it's important to note that you don't necessarily have to have the data inside of your spreadsheet in order to be able to copy it. For example, you can copy data from another Excel workbook. So let's go ahead and open up a sample file, and the file I'll open up here is called Working with Data in Excel. It's in the Lesson 2 folder, and I'll just click Alt-Tab to get to it. And from this file, I'm just going to take out some sample data. What I'll do is I'll copy data out of here, and I'll paste it into the other spreadsheet. Now you'll notice here that although the data was indeed pasted into the cells, the column widths of the cells don't keep up with what's inside of the cells. So what we'll have to do is we'll have to manually widen the columns. And again, the easiest way to do this is to select the columns you need to widen and double click on one of the lines in between the column headings. And there you have it. Data, didn't have to type it in. It was copied and pasted from another workbook.